guys, Nick at Taxi Garage here, and we are introducing the Bolt-On XL wing. So this is a thing that everyone was asking for. We made one for James Dean, which was a little bit more intricate, and we've simplified it here with some bolt-on brackets. Now it does require drilling 2 holes in your uprights, so we do recommend, if you've never used a drill or any of things like that sort, then get some parental help. So we're gonna jump right into it. So you've got the wing. Now I've mocked up all of the parts that come with the wing on this assembly so you can see how it goes together before it goes on the chassis. So it will come with the 2 upright supports. These are the ones that the hole you drill in the chassis, the bolts will go through that. So these are the 2 longer bolts that go through there. You will then have 4 Equalink bolts that are M6x1 with the nylocks that go through the base plate of the uprights. And then you will have 8 Allen with 10mm bolts. It's a 5mm Allen with a 10mm nut on the back side of it. So you'll have 8 of those. Now you'll notice that you also are going to get 2 washers that come with one of each of those bolts. Those go between the upright on the wing and these uprights that sandwich it together. Now that's doing is it's making this width the same as the upright width. And then I always face the bolts inward so it has a nice cleanly look. Then you'll get over here to the wing end caps. It will come with Allen bolts as well. I do recommend putting Loctite on these because there's no lock nut or washer. And then the bolt-on clamps. So the bolt-on clamps will bolt to the end of the wing here, and this is what goes on the upright bar of the chassis. Now these are 3/16 head Allen, so you'll get a 3/16 Allen there to tighten those. I also recommend putting blue Loctite on these. Now the one thing to note about these little ear wings is that they are directional. So you'll notice that it matches the radius here, and then on the exact flip side of that, you'll notice that it matches the radius there. So everything I've got on here right now is loosely on, because what you'll want is once you get to the chassis, you'll want to position everywhere you want to be and then start snugging bolts. The last thing you'll do is drill these 2 holes because that's going to set your pitch on the wing. So we've got the tools laid out for what you're going to need to do the install. So firstly, you'll have a 10mm wrench and a 10mm socket. It's a combination, you don't have to have both, but one or the other is always ideal. You will have a 5mm Allen, that is to tighten the wing itself here. And then you would have your 10. So all of these are that. You then would have the 10 and the 10 here to tighten these. And then you'll have the 3/16, which is for these Allen bolts that hold the upper bar clamp on. So again, I recommend blue Loctite on these. I recommend blue Loctite anything that doesn't have a lock nut. So that's why we provide these lock nuts here. This is a piece of nylon in the nut that keeps the nut from backing off, as a crazy cart has no suspension. You always want to check all the nuts and bolts on your cart, no matter what it is, because they will rattle loose despite having Loctite, despite having even the nylock, but this helps slow down that process. And then you'll have your drill. So we are going to drill firstly with a small drill bit. This one I have here is an 1/8 inch drill bit, very standard in a very small drill bit set. And then the final hole that we're going to be drilling this to through the chassis is a 1/4 inch drill bit. We are now at the point of taking our mocked up wing. Everything is loose enough that it moves around, and going to the back of the chassis. So the helpful thing with having these down bars on here will allow you to line up with these 2 uprights. So when you go on the chassis here, set it down, and you want to see its center. I would measure if you're feeling unsure, but this is a really good guide to do so. Pretty close already just in the rough mock-up. Then you'll need to have a friend hold the wing, or your dad or your someone, because what you need to do is bolt these on. So we found our friend, Mr. Andre. I'm going to put the blue Loctite on these bolts. So we are going to take the clamps, put them here. I'm going to do this evenly because it is going to clamp that tube. Another small sense of details, there's some lines in these clamps that will be facing outward, so I like to match those, but that doesn't matter anything other than small attention to detail stuff. The goal is here is that these will rest essentially straight up and down. Then you'll have that curvature matching the top there. So you don't need to King Kong these on there, but you do need to tighten them. It keeps the wing from swiveling. And then I'll start to look at the wing and see how he's trying to hold this level. So you want this line to be pretty level. Now this obviously swivels, so once you drill this hole is where it lands. So if you have the wing down or up, I aim for this to be level. So what I'd have him do is hold it there, and then I'm going to tighten these, and that will help you hold the wing. And that should just float there and you can let go. Yep. This is all still adjustable, and we really haven't tightened all of this up yet. So so you can kind of figure out your pitch. And now it still will swivel and do all sorts of stuff like that. So like kind of get the pitch on it like you want.
Active arrow, huh?
Active arrow. So this is all just swivels. You can kind of put it wherever you want. It seems like these being all the way up and that tilted back gives the coolest wing look. Now we want to tighten these on our final install, but that's kind of where you just visually look at it and be like, okay, this is pretty sweet. So the final part is obviously where it might get a little scary for you, is that we need to drill these holes through this upright bar. We're gonna drill with the 1/8 inch drill bit first, and you're gonna drill all the way through both sides of the bar. Check it and measure. Just all you're gonna be measuring is side to side of the center hole. So that one's like 6 1/4. And it's 6 1/4. Alrighty, time to drill. So we've got our 1/8 inch drill bit. We've got our heat wave safety glasses. Take this little drill bit and start to drill. Want to make sure you're drilling straight. Okay, now you're drilled all the way through. Take your other drill bit, which is the 1/4 inch drill bit. You drill through again. And you can make this out of the way so you don't bang up the powder coat. We'll run it back the other way. And that's where your longer 10mm bolt will go. There's your 10. We missed off a little center just a little bit, but it also shows how it can be installed. Like that, you want to go for center, but you'll be able to get it left or right just a little bit. I'm gonna tighten up the 2 longer bolts here that are provided with the kit. Alrighty, so now that we've got our 2 holes drilled, we're gonna tighten up everything, kind of get it where we want, and we're on just the final tighten. So I'll start from the bottom, tighten our 2 lowers, tighten the upper part, tighten the little wing ears. And now you're gonna have to make a change of a tool. So you're gonna go to the 5mm, and that's for these upright pieces.
And again, these may come loose from riding, from vibration.
Absolutely, they're all nylock, but the cart has no suspension, so vibration loosens up everything.
It's always good to have a good ear on your vehicle to hear weird noises and investigate where they come from.
A lot like a race car. Every race car event we go to, nut and bolt the car before you go, or things fall off of it. Crazy Cart's a lot like that. So now your final install is your wing end cap. So you'll line it up. Now these really can go on both ways, and it's almost your choice. I find that the upright, this being up, looks more correct, but again, they can go down if you wanted. So this is purely up to your decision. But make sure that you do put Loctite on these bolts as well. All right. Also, don't tighten these too much. This is just a snug kind of piece. All right, that's your last step. And then now you've got a big wing on your Hexel. Now again, all this is adjustable. Once this is bolted on, it is unboltable in the fact of maybe you wanting to put it in your parents' car or your car, or whoever. What I would recommend, just in the easiest fact, is just these 4 10mm. That way you leave these clamps on, and then you would bolt these 2 and these 2, and then basically the chassis is the same as it was without the wing on it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys and all the support. We're gonna keep releasing new products, keep pushing the envelope. Send it with us. Thank you so much. See you on the next one.